here we've got the Galaxy Tab S5e, and the Tab S5e starts at $399. That is the 4GB of RAM version with 64GB of storage. And I've got it here in front of me, and I've got to tell you, this device here is a very good device, especially for that price. There is a 6GB of RAM version, so if you feel like you need to multitask a little more, you could go up in price, but you know, if you're already going up in price at that point, you're getting closer to 500 bucks, you might as well just get the new and improved Galaxy Tab S6, which is coming out in just a month. And that'll start at $650. So this is really more hitting the mid-range, so it's not competing against like the iPad Pros of the world and devices like that. It's really trying to hit a market that Android hasn't really captured in the past. So Android hasn't really captured the $300-400 tablet market. You know, the tablet market has been saturated with these $100 devices that are very bad. So the good news is this device is not bad, and it really is just a great device in almost every single way. But if you saw one of my previous videos, there's one way which it fails, which is a defect with the Wi-Fi, and I'll go over that with you as well. So just to start off, I'll go through some basic stuff. And I want to start off by saying it is very good to get a device that does have Android Pie on it. So as I go through the software, you can see it does have Android 9. It's actually got some good software on it, which is great. The device also, again, I went over the price. It has a Snapdragon 670 though, which is nice. It's got 4GB of RAM with the 6GB version available as well. And it's got 64GB of storage. And it does have a very nice display. So that's just an overview of the specs. Now I want to show you here, you know, the device itself. We've got these wonderful speakers here. And you'll look on the bottom too, you'll see 2 speakers there as well. So we do have quad speakers, which is very excellent at this price point. You've got a USB-C charger. And on the side here, one thing you'll notice is that power button. Now that power button is also a fingerprint scanner. So the Tab S4 dropped that, so it's nice to see a mid-range tablet have something that a premium tablet did not. We've got the volume rocker there, and on this side all we really have is just this here for the Samsung keyboard if you do choose to get that. So really great device, honestly. But you're noticing probably it's missing a headphone jack. So to get it this light and thin, you see there's small bezels here. It's not just small, it's actually very light and very thin. So they didn't make the back of glass, which I believe was just a way to save money. So you see you got your camera here, but it's very nicely made. But I believe the back was made of what it was made of to really save money. But it is also a little bit lighter probably than glass. And they did really manage to shave a little weight off. Compared to the Tab S4, you're looking at about 3 ounces lighter than the Tab S4, which might seem a little minor, but that is 18%. So you could get an 18% lighter device if you choose to get the Tab S5e over the Tab S4. So that's just a quick overview of what it looks like and some basic features it has. So I want to start off first by just going piece by piece through what I mentioned with the specs. But I want to first go on the display and start there with that display because it's a really, really nice display on this device. So the device itself has 2560 by 1600 pixels in the resolution. So it's a wonderful display. It has a very good brightness to it. So right now you can see it's about halfway. So when we turn it all the way up, you can see it gets very bright. So for a device at this price point, to see a device that is just so bright and so nice like this, I mean, it is very pleasant to look at. So if you're going just to read some casual news, you know, you're going to the Google News feed. Actually, I'll go to the actual Google News right there. You could see things are bright, they are vibrant, they look good. You know, if I choose to read about Stranger Things, you see here, it looks good, it loads, it's actually very quick as well, but it just looks nice on the display. So the one thing with an Android tablet, because I think many people nowadays for this price point are going between tablets and Chromebooks, and Chromebooks are a lot more for productivity. So you'll get a nicer keyboard. You could still find a Chromebook that's a little light, but it's not going to be half as light as this. So for this, you're looking at portability with a tablet, and you're looking at a device that looks good. So you'll almost always get better performance from a Chromebook. So Chromebooks have Android apps now, that's why a lot of people compare the two, but you will not find many devices with this nice, beautiful display. So for this to have roughly the same display as something like the Tab S4 or even the newer Tab S6 really can't be that much better than this display. I mean, it is just gorgeous. So to see them include a great display like this at this price point, it's just amazing. So I can't say enough about the display. With the display, I typically like to show a video as well, so you could see the speakers also, but it gives you an idea of what this would look like, what this device might look like for the price. So I'm just going to play a video. I don't know if it'll be 720p or 1080, but I'm just going to play a sports video here so you can see.
I believe you can describe sports teams in 3 words. It forces you to narrow in on what really matters for every team. I don't think most teams are that complex. They have strengths, they have liabilities. And so we do the 3-word game. You guys ready for it? For the AFC, we'll do NFC tomorrow. But we'll start with AFC. Every team, every division. Here we go. AFC East. Patriots, somehow getting younger. Yes, Brady turns 42, but Gronk retired. Not only will their first 5 draft picks this year play, they drafted not only talent but need, but 3 of their top 4 draft picks last year, very good players, got hurt. They will have an infusion of 8 young...
So you can see right there, the one nice thing, you have Android P, and that's why you see a big difference there. You can have a YouTube video playing in the background like that. That's a nice little feature to have. And you could see when I turned up the volume of that, it just got very loud. So these 4 speakers are fantastic. So honestly, this device has great speakers. It has a great display. It's great for entertainment purposes. And you know, not all videos on YouTube are available at 1080, so it can display things at 1080. So that is good. Now, most Android tablets that I know of can't show 4K Netflix, stuff like that, so it can't do that, but it still just looks really good. So I did just want to mention that the display in this is probably one of my favorite things that I really do like about this device. So definitely, if you're thinking about getting a device because of the display, that is one of the shining points of this device. Also, outside of the display, one of the most important things is performance, right? You want this to be fast, you want it to be smooth, so I want to talk about performance for a minute. So, this device has been getting, it's been getting bad treatment because of the performance. People say, well, this is a mid-range tablet. If you want a high-range tablet, if you want something with better performance, you need to get the Galaxy Tab S4. But that is not true, and I've done a lot of research on this, and as a techie guy, I wanted to really get this right. This does have a Snapdragon 670 processor, but the Snapdragon 670 will give you about 90% of the performance you will get from the Snapdragon 835. So to put it in layman's terms here, this will give you 90% of the performance of the Galaxy Tab S4. Now for gaming is a little different. This does have a little bit worse of a GPU, and GPU handles the gaming aspect. So it does have about a 50% worse GPU. For PUBG and stuff like that, it'll play a little bit lower than it would in, the Tab S4. So I'm not denying the gaming part. This could still game well, okay? It's still going to game well, but it's not going to game as good as the Tab S4. But you could see how smooth this tablet is, right? If I pull up CNET to read an article, you could see CNET typically can take 10 seconds on a slower device. And even though I'm opening it up here, it pulls up pretty quick and things look pretty smooth. Things are pretty smooth overall. Now CNET always does a little bit of jittery action when you're scrolling for for most devices I use it on, but it's pretty smooth. If I go back like to the Google News, you probably saw as I was scrolling through, like, this is just buttery smooth as far as performance goes. So, you know, if you were looking at the Tab A, and maybe the Tab A for the price is like, it's about $229 is where it starts. The 3 GB of RAM version is $280. And if you just want a little better performance than that, this is definitely a place you can go. It definitely is faster than most devices. Definitely a great device as far as performance. And I really did not have many problems. As you could see, everything is just very smooth. So don't have a lot of problems with performance. Now the other thing is battery life. It has a 7,040 milliamp battery. So for tablets, to give you an idea, the Tab S3 had a 6,000 milliamp battery. The Tab A, which just came out this year, the Tab A 2019, that has about a 6,000-ish milliamp battery. So you're looking at about 6,000 in those. This has 7,000. The Tab S4 has 7,400. So you're looking right in the same ballpark of the Tab S4 as far as battery life goes. So for this device, I know this device will last most people through their workday, no problem. And it's right in the ballpark. I know the Tab S6 just released their specs, and it was right over 7,000 milliamps as well. So it all about the same battery as the Tab S6. It has about the same battery, it's just a little smaller than the Tab S4. So you are right in the ballpark of the best battery life in tablets. So I wouldn't worry too much about battery. It's definitely going to last a long time for you. Now as far as camera, I don't really get into camera much on tablets. It looks decent. So if I were to, you know, I am recording, you'll see me recording, but I want to flip it over. I want you to see the selfie camera here if we were to flip this over, so you could see at least like what would this look like when you're talking about video recording, right? Or things like that. So you could see I'm in a pretty lit area. Obviously it's so bright it's not going to see it great, but got my camera here. So yeah, I would say it's perfectly fine for video chatting. It's not going to be anything to write home about. So no tablet camera is. So if you were expecting like the best camera in the world, you're not going to really get that in a tablet. So that's not really a big deal, honestly. So yeah, that's one thing. But honestly, for this device, I think the main things really are the display and the performance, and they are great. Now, what about other little features? This does have fast charging, so this device does fast charge. One thing in the Galaxy Tab, I was talking about the Galaxy Tab A, right? And there's other very small features that we look to in our tablets, which is if I put a flip case on it, this is a $10 flip case I got from Amazon. And if I put this flip case on it, the one nice thing is you can, if you get this device to go to sleep, and you put a flip case on, I actually put it on backwards, so that is my mistake. But if you put a flip case on it, which I'm doing now, you can get this device to sleep and wake up. That is really nice because you will not see that in the Galaxy Tab A. It's a very minor feature, but it is there, which is it's a nice thing to see in this device. Also, this device does have fast charging. The Galaxy Tab A does not have fast charging. So when you're talking about the Galaxy Tab A, to get the 3 GB model in that tablet, you're going to pay about $280 if it's on sale. Right now it's on sale for $250, which is great. But for $250 versus $400, for an extra $150, you can get a faster processor, you get a better screen, you get fast charging, you get that little smart wake feature with the device, you get better speakers. So for the money, for performance, the Tab S5e is actually a really good bang for your buck, and it hits that nice mid-range. Now, what are some of the negatives? I've talked so much, and most of this has been positive in the review, but I want to talk about some really key negatives in this device. First off, this device does have a Wi-Fi defect, okay? So if you are holding it just like you normally would, right? you've got the device, let's say you've got it like this, right? If you put your hand in this corner, it drops Wi-Fi, and I don't know if you saw that, but it does drop Wi-Fi signal. So this is a very good way to test for yourself. But if you get this device, you download this Wi-Fi signal meter app. I'm going to put this down here so you can see for yourself. And we'll get out of the ad here. So I did this test on another video, but I wanted to show you that this device in general, it gets worse Wi-Fi than other devices, and it does lose signal when you cover up the corner. So you can see right there, it dropped to 52%. And why is that? The router is downstairs. So I'm upstairs right now. The router is downstairs, and you have a desk that's blocking it, for one. But two, look at this. 96% in my Pixel. 96%. Let me turn up the brightness for you. 95%. And this is a 64%. So there's definitely something wrong with the Wi-Fi. Now when this goes up a little bit, if you just cover this corner, boom, 32%. I'm in a place with 95% Wi-Fi, and I got this to go down to 32%. Most people don't notice though, right? Because if you have 5 bars of Wi-Fi, you put your hand here, most of the time it drops like 15, 20%. This thing just dropped to 30%. So it's dropping almost 50% down compared to what it normally is. So most people do not notice this defect. They claim it doesn't exist. I've seen this on 5 different models. I bought a Samsung model, I bought a Best Buy model, and I went to all the different models at Best Buy, and I've tried them in 2 different Best Buys. They all tested for this Wi-Fi defect. So, because all you have to do is download this app, you just got to cover up this corner here and sort of see what happens. It doesn't always happen, but almost every single time you'll see when you actually hold it and actually put your finger there, you will see most of the time it's going to drop. So one last thing I wanted to mention in my review. I know it's been very lengthy, so I appreciate you hanging in there with me. I just want to give you as much detail as you can, and like I said, you could always skip around if need be. But this right here is DeX mode. So DeX mode is almost like a desktop oriented part of the operating system, so it's really completely different from Android, where I would say they mixed it in sort of like Chrome OS, where you can use Android apps, but it's not just Android. So it's sort of a desktop interface that allows you to use Android and still do different things. So I could pull up YouTube, and it's going to pull up just like it does on a desktop, right? So I could do that. You can also make things a little wider if need be. So you can do that. You could pull up various things, but in my experience, I quickly wanted to share. I didn't have the best of luck with DeX mode. It works good. It's fairly responsive for me. I didn't have many issues with touch things and other issues that some people might have mentioned. But despite that, I still had some issues. So in the browser itself, whenever I was using the browser, there were some minor details where, you know, if I started typing normally when I opened Chrome, it would start working, but I believe on DeX mode when I started typing, I actually had to click in manually and do a few extra steps that I normally didn't need to do. So there were some minor nuances with how Chrome worked and the operating system and stuff like that that I didn't really experience with Windows. So I will say that it's very unique, the operating system, but some people will enjoy having a desktop. So I'll say this, if you're looking to buy this primarily for productivity, that's when I would recommend you go with something like a Chromebook, because you'll get access to Android apps, but you'll have a little bit of a smoother operating system for those things. Now, if you're buying this for entertainment purposes, you're buying this for the speakers, you're buying this because you want an awesome screen, and productivity is sort of a secondary thing, DeX works really well for that. So you can open apps. Some apps aren't very optimized for, you know, this device, so they're not optimized, similar to Chrome OS, but some things you could stretch, right, to get them to fit. You know, you could stretch that out so that you can get it to work. for a desktop environment if you want that, but not the perfect environment, right? It's not as good as Windows, it's not even as good as Chrome OS, but it does work. So I did want to at least show you DeX, show you the little different things that are going on here, and I wanted you to at least see a little bit of how that works. So tell me what you think, guys. That's really all for my review. So would I recommend the Galaxy Tab S5e? I would say yes, I would recommend it if you don't mind losing Wi-Fi when you hold it. And again, that's in the landscape position like this, or if you hold it with your hand in the top left-hand corner. If you don't mind losing 1 bar, most people in good signal will lose 10-20%. So if you don't mind that off and on, then I would say go for it. It's a great device in the $400 range. But if you want a stylus, you need a headphone jack, you know, and you want to stay in this price range, the Galaxy Tab S3, maybe you find that on eBay, or the Galaxy Tab S4 would probably be better suited for you. And if you really want something heavy for like multitasking, you might want a little more production power, and that might be where you go with the Tab S6, which is coming out soon. So let me know what you think. Thank you so much for your support. If you would like to support our channel, please hit that subscribe button so fast. Please, I beg you, hit that subscribe button. It helps us so much. You can also like us on Facebook at facebook.com/theandroiddigest, and you can also go to www.androiddigest.com and see all of our tech news, tech articles, and tech reviews that we've got there, as well as tech deals, because we like to post deals for you. So do you like this tablet? Do you not? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you have any questions or comparisons that you want, I'm more than happy to really compare specs between different tablets to help you make a good decision. So what do you think? Any questions? Please let me know. And like always, I hope you have a fantastic day.